Wala pa si Bruce. Dahil wala pa si Bruce, hindi pa tayo live. Sige, hintayin natin si Bruce na magparamdam. Oh, may winner tayo. Si JK naman ngayon ang unang naggalaw ng baso.
Hey, JK, what up, man?
Nasaan si Bruce? What's up, Uncle Al?
Where is Bruce? Something is wrong.
Oo nga. This is not normal. Hello, Glendale. Ah, there's Bruce. You're alive! You're okay! Awi, thank you for staying up for us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Awi. Sorry we disrupted your nap.
But we appreciate that you still make us a part of your routine kahit na pagod ka na. You know, si Bruce, ready na for the SummerSlam viewing party. Nakabili ka na ba ng tickets? What's up, Christian? Glendale, hindi kita masagot because I haven't had time to watch G1.
Yeah, ako din. Hindi ako updated sa G1 masyado. I actually didn't know it started, so di talaga ako updated. Yes, we are going to talk about Dirty Dom and his new belt, as well as all the other wrestling news.
Mm-hmm. Emil, baka di mo binabasa yung private chat. Nakamute ka, sir. Oy, si Ninang Abby nagpaparamdam.
Hey, Abby! Nakita ko awkwardly nung Sunday.
Who you po? Hindi kita maalala.
Kung hindi siya nagpakilala sa akin, hindi ko siya maaalala. So, thank you, Abby.
Very good ka dyan. Very good ka dyan. Good job.
Then, nakilala ko naman siya. Nakamask kasi siya. So,
okay.
hindi ko talaga mamuha kasi nakamask siya. So, the mask obscures the face.
Yeah, that sucks.
I did have an experience like that nung Sabado. I was hosting a wedding and then one of my sister's old friends was looking in my direction and was saying hi to me and nakamask ako. So I wasn't sure kung ako ba yung hi niya. So I had to go like, ako ba? And I even looked to my left and to my right and then she was like, yes, you, I'm talking to you. Eh, alam mo yun, like, ang hirap mag-assume, di ba? So, nung una ninunosen ko pa siya.
It is the new normal. It is the new normal.
So what did you guys watch this week? Barbie or Oppenheimer?
I haven't seen either, actually. I've been watching
either.
The Bear.
Ako rin, I've been watching The
Barbie
Bear.
Natics ba? Yeah. I'm gonna get on that this weekend.
Yeah.
Mga Barbie Natics ba kayo o mga Opay?
I'm gonna try both.
Opay!
Tina has a question for us.
Well, as a wrestling fan, well, you know, depends where you are. If you're in the kung nasa audience ka, di restrain na siya, diba?
Yeah, do your responsible thing as a wrestling fan. So,
thank you, Glendale, for welcoming me back.
Who cares about Mission Impossible?
Mission Impossible is pretty good, though. I suggest it. It's pretty good. Good time.
My dad actually wants to watch the new one. So, yes, older people.
Yeah, pretty good.
All right.
What's going on? This is Xavier Woods, aka Austin Creed.
Welcome to the big time!
Hello, WWE Universe in the Philippines. This is Charlotte.
You know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Hey everyone, this is Jeff Cobb.
I have to finish the story.
We are pretty deadly. Yes, boy. Yes, boy.
Hello, my name is Ilya Dragunov, the star.
Bang! The sniper is shooting you down. This is TMDK's Robbie Eagles, and you are listening to the Wrestling Podcast.
You're watching and listening to the longest running weekly episodic Filipino wrestling podcast. This is the Wrestling Podcast. We've got a full house tonight. Stan C, Romoran, Chino Liao, and Emil ASH checking in on a very packed Thursday night. Ang daming nangyari. So much so that the audio-only part, I bet, is actually gonna be pretty long. Just because there's so much to talk about. Sobrang daming nangyari across all the different shows from your two major promotions in the US. So dun palang punong-puno na yung plate natin for tonight. So thank you to everyone who's watching the live stream right now. If you're listening to the audio-only version on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. Chino's back. Emil's back. Babyface producer Jasper at the controls. He's backstage. We've got a lot to get to, so let's start off with some plugs. Emil, let them know what they can expect if they join our growing and bustling wrestling podcast patron community.
So if you want to get the full wrestling podcast experience, all you need to do is subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast. You get all the benefits of being a patron. Of course, we have our Discord community where you could interact with your fellow podcasts and talk to us about wrestling, but also everything else under the sun, like sports, memes, fashion, and all sorts of stuff. And we also host some watch parties there. And if you miss the Tagalog commentary on the WWE Network, we did start to do that with Money in the Bank, and we're going to continue with future PLEs and also other pay-per-views of other wrestling companies like AEW. And also we have the Pasabais, which I know we're cooking up something here so sometime soon. So if you want to get your wrestling merch, you can get it through us. Also, you can enjoy the review content of the weekly wrestling shows courtesy of Raw and Rowan's Raw, SmackDown, NXT Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and some local wrestling events as well, courtesy of Raw and ASH. And by subscribing to our Patreon, you're supporting everything that we do here on the podcast. So again, please subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/wrestling podcast.
Thank you very much, Emil. Etong si Bruce, one of our regulars, has already alluded to the SummerSlam viewing party happening on August 6th at Skinny Mike's BGC Row. Tell them what they can expect over there.
Yes, sir. I know you guys want a SummerSlam viewing party. Siyempre, maraming ganap. We got the Tribal Chief versus main event, Jey Uso. You got Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor 2, which we'll talk about in a bit. So, August 6th, Skinny Mike's watch party natin for SummerSlam. I'm going to be there. Emil's going to be there. I don't know if Gina's going to be there. Jasper should be there because if he doesn't, we'll take him to Tribal Court. So, gates open at 6:30 a.m. and tickets are available at snack.ph/geektalkph, snack.snack.ph/geektalk.ph. Early bird tickets are 400 pesos. We're only selling tickets online until July 30 due to some technical issues. So please, if you are thinking of going to the watch party, please avail na agad kasi baka mawalan kayo and then you would have to settle for the walk-in price, which is 500 pesos. Remember, we care about you. We don't want you to spend that extra money. Mahirap na buhay ngayon, daming inflation. Thanks, President. You get a free iced tea as well as part of the ticket that you get. Syempre, you can get breakfast as well at Skinny Mike's. We're going to have a lot of fun, guys. But also, if you are also from the north and then you find Skinny Mike's too far, our friends over at Hobby Stadium also have a SummerSlam watch party. Syempre, dun siya sa Quezon City, New Manila area near Chino. It's free, but please do consider, syempre, supporting the business and buying food. Mahiya naman kayo. Kasi kailangan nila yun. So a lot of different options for SummerSlam on August 6th. At a Sunday morning once
Yes,
again.
masarap ang food.
Yes, thank you for chiming in at the very last second. Yes, yon. A lot of options for SummerSlam, guys. I know that you guys want to catch it live. I know you guys want to experience it with your fellow wrestling fans. I know it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be crazy over at our end. We've already confirmed some of the zanier members of the wrestling community will be there. So good luck na lang sa amin. See you guys there, please. Skinny Mike's or Hobby Stadium. It's a win-win for everyone, guys. Let's have fun.
All right. Now, let's start off with some bits from SmackDown. Kasi nga, it's a packed week and we got to talk about the Bloodline segment. No Roman Reigns from this past week's episode. Pero this weekend, magpapakita na siya. And Paul Heyman got physical. Jey Uso stood tall at the end of it after he dispatched of Solo and gave Paul Heyman a good one. At this point, with how this entire storyline has stretched over the last 3 years, are we at a point where nagsasawa na tayo sa mga bloodline segments on SmackDown? Let's start with you, Emil.
At this point, hindi pa naman ako nagsasawa with the bloodline segments because like we are at a point now that parang nasa climax na tayo ng story because again, like I said, this whole thing really started with Jey versus Roman and now we're getting there to a point na may mangyari ng resolution or maybe nangyari na ngayong resolution to this story, which is Jey standing up for himself against Roman. So at this point, it hasn't really jumped the shark for me. It's still interesting and may mga new and interesting developments pa naman na nangyayari.
And that's a good point that you raised there, the whole jumping the shark thing. Ikaw, Ro, do you feel that this story has jumped the shark?
I mean, this entire point is from my SmackDown review. So I don't want to say that it has jumped the shark unofficially just yet. I am when I brought this up in my review, please go read it. I just mentioned that I don't have as much amor for it as I did like a couple of months ago, diba? So it's not that I'm getting tired of it. It's just that to me, it's not as must catch as it was, especially when Roman's not involved, diba? Especially when it's the supporting cast, Jey Uso, Solo, Paul Heyman. They're great, trust me. But I feel like they've also been hiding behind the fact now. Okay, this drama pulls in the viewers every week, every quarter hour, diba? So let's stop all of these guys. Let's stop Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa, especially Roman Reigns from wrestling, and let's just rely on them getting their soap opera shit in. So I don't know. It's kind of unfair because even like a couple of months ago, before Night of Champions, or before Backlash, even Jey Uso was still wrestling by himself as as a potential US championship contender. Tapos may ganun pa. They were still there was still a pretense of him wrestling every week on TV, and now it's just not there anymore. And I kind of understand why some haters don't like na it's all 100% melodrama now. Like, yes, it's great, pero syempre, we do have to balance it out with some wrestling. I do miss these guys wrestling, and parang I don't think it's fair then that they only get away with wrestling once a month on PLEs. Tapos syempre may live events then, but I don't know how many live events they wrestle in as well. So yun lang. I hope that they switch it up because yes, it makes the money. It puts the money on the table. It puts food on the table. Pero alam mo yun, it could, operative word, could get old really quick.
Yeah, ang gandang point nun that there isn't a whole lot of in-ring action now when it comes to the bloodline. Have you been able to have you observed that, Chino? And what do you think about the bloodline stuff being more in-ring segment heavy instead of actual matches?
As somebody who enjoys the story of part of wrestling a little bit more, this feels to me like it's been going on far longer than it has any need to at this point. Kasi parang si Jey Uso, like bro brought up some good points about Jey Uso wrestling solo. pun intended. He brought up some good points about him resting on his own, and then may isip mo na that entire time was just a build up to us wanting to see him against Roman Reigns, diba? We already got the Sammy and KO payoff. Now let's see if Jay can get his own redemption arc in there. Diba? And now that we have it, parang wala ka nang pwedeng gawin eh. Diba? Short of actually making Roman drop the titles, which I don't see it happening anytime soon. Nandun na tayo sa point na Jey Uso's gonna challenge for Roman Reigns, but is Jey Uso going to surprise us and beat Roman Reigns? Is this compelling enough scenario that it actually happens, or is it going to be same shit different day? Hindi yun yung hindi ko masakyan masyado eh, because if it's just going to be a rehash of the rivalry from a few years back, then sayangin mo lang yung oras ng tao, and you're just gonna give them, you're just gonna blue ball them for an unnecessary amount of time.
I actually don't think that it's gonna be a rehash of the 2020 rivalry. I don't know what you guys think, Ro, Emil, but we've come so far, and so much has happened to Roman and to Jay that it can't possibly just be a rehash of what happened then.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a rehash of what happened then. Pero at the same time, then can you really blame them? Diba? Parang they're saving Roman up for someone, diba? It's like a really conservative schoolgirl. Pero I don't know. It's not that, I don't know. I don't think that's a problem. I think it's just that they they have relied too much on this particular method that parang okay, medyo predictable na. And predictable is good. Like especially when the story is good. Pero at some point then I do feel na okay, you got to change things up now because we are slowly, very slowly losing people.
All right. Any other thoughts on this one, or do you want to move on to the next bit from SmackDown?
Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah, go na tayo.
All right, let's talk about LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to talk about the future or the immediate future for LA Knight because this weekend he's going to be in a fatal four-way against Rey Mysterio, Cameron Grimes, and I am forgetting the third person. But the idea is to have him probably face Santos Escobar the following week to become the number one contender for Austin Theory. So it's funny that this is happening a week after the post Money in the Bank episode where we didn't hear or see LA Knight at all. So what do you think about this one? Na parang people are expecting that he would get this kind of push, but we were talking about it coming out of Money in the Bank, and it looks like I guess WWE is kind of making it up to LA Knight by putting him in this United States Championship trajectory. Emil, you want to start?
For me, it's actually the step in the right direction, going after the US title, because I also kind of said this after Money in the Bank na hindi naman ibig sabihin na ipupush si LA Knight na world title agad. I mean, the guy hasn't won a title yet in his WWE career, so he's gonna be over nonetheless. So why not have him go after the US title? And I am glad that they're actually pushing in this direction because Austin Theory's reign has kind of fell flat already. So it's time to push it's time to push LA Knight and have him win the US title. That it's a good thing. It's a right thing to do here.
Mm-hmm.
But
Si Awi says AJ's the fourth guy. Yeah, sorry. It is
yeah.
AJ Styles. Go ahead, bro.
No, my entire interest in LA Knight is as business, as completely business. Because I'm not like the biggest fan, but I understand he's mega over. People love to hear somebody talk like The Rock and Steve Austin all in one, so that's pretty cool. I do think that it's like what I said last time. If you guys didn't catch it, it's not like Cody Rhodes where we can already tell you, you can already see that Cody Rhodes is a proven commodity, and WWE sees Cody Rhodes as a proven commodity, and it's a matter of when, not if. The difference between him and LA Knight is that, syempre, they haven't quite pulled the trigger in LA Knight yet, so you do have to want them to do it. You do have to parang hold them accountable in making sure now, okay, you're listening to the people, you already almost had a Cody Rhodes uprising nung WrestleMania. So I think you can't, tempt fate twice here by ignoring the major LA Knight movement.
What did you think of that promo on SmackDown? Because the way that he delivered it actually sounded very babyfacey. And I think from Money in the Bank, yung build up noon to now, we're slowly getting an LA Knight face turn, Chino. Do you think, have you been seeing the same thing?
No, I'm pretty sure he's a face at this point because I feel like, and this is again piggybacking off something Ro said, na the WWE, it's nice to see somebody who talks like The Rock and sounds like The Rock and does catchphrases like The Rock. Diba? Pero feeling ko in-underestimate din ng WWE yung power na dala ni LA Knight. Eh. Like when they signed the wrestler formerly known as Eli Drake, I'm pretty sure there was a ceiling kasi unang-una, he was a lot older than everybody else in his draft class. He was also one of the few indie darlings na kasama dun sa draft class na yun. So, I'm pretty sure when they put him on NXT, he was going to just stay in NXT a lot longer than everybody else as enhancement talent. Diba? Little did they know na may captivating power pala yung charisma ni LA Knight. And so, I'm happy for the guy. I'm glad that we're seeing more of him on TV. But that said, the way he delivers his promos is very nostalgic, but it's not like you're watching The Rock do the promo. You're watching an assimilation of The Rock. You get what I mean? So it's not the real deal here. Eh. So parang may ceiling ka pagka ganon. And I don't know if the WWE is totally sold on that whole package just yet. But I do hope they listen to the fans because everybody, myself included, has changed their opinions on LA Knight.
You said na LA Knight is a simulation of The Rock. I'm not sure I agree with that because I'd like to think na
he is.
I mean he took elements of it, but he also made it his own.
No, yeah, that's fair. You know where he got that from, diba? He was very heavily influenced by that, diba? Sure, you can still, iba naman yung kumukuha ka lang ng elements versus actually copying the tone of how the person speaks, eh, diba? He's able, if anything, he's able to bring that cadence to the modern day, and yun na-appreciate ko yun, diba? But let's not kid ourselves here na parang pinaggayahan talaga siya.
I've been watching Mr. Knight since he was Eli Drake in Impact, and yeah, it's literally the same gimmick, and then it's just naharap lang siya sa greater wrestling audience. That's why everyone caught fired. It caught fire, diba? I don't even know why it took this long because this guy was feuding with Bray Wyatt in a Mountain Dew pitch black match, and you guys didn't support him like that. But it's the same. When I first saw that, he was doing the Eli Drake, and he was doing the it's a fact of life, and all of that stuff that everyone else loves now. I saw that in the very beginning of it, and noon pa lang, I knew that this guy was doing The Rock, and whether he intended to or not, it's not a bad formula. But yeah, Chino's right. Let's not pretend that this is not The Rock because he modulates like The Rock. He does catchphrases like The Rock. He knows that the catchphrases work. He's loud and boisterous like The Rock, and I think there is no shame then in admitting na ito yung peg mo.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to deliver it, but he's over as hell.
Yeah. Diba?
Yeah, plus The Rock isn't really that bad of a role model to model yourself after. Kasi The Rock is one of the most popular guys in wrestling. So now you see what LA Knight is doing is getting popular. So kudos to him, man. Kudos to LA Knight.
Yeah. We have to watch out over the weekend if LA Knight indeed wins that fatal four-way because Santos Escobar is still technically a face. So if it's a number one contenders match na dalawang baby face, I mean, it can happen, but traditionally, diba, you have a face winning one bracket, you usually get a heel winning the other bracket. So hindi na natin alam at this point what LA Knight's true alignment is. He's at a point, I guess, where everyone just likes him because he just is. Speaking of people being just as they are, we're going to talk about Logan Paul and Ronda Rousey right after this break. But first, a quick word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. All right, let's talk about Logan Paul and Ronda Rousey. Thank you, babyface producer Jasper. Logan Paul, 2 weeks ago, he cut this promo on Ricochet, and he basically bragged about what he's been able to do on the internet, how viral he is, and ano yung value niya to WWE. And it's kind of the same promo that Ronda Rousey cut on Shayna Baszler. And their opponents, Shayna and Ricochet, are basically people who had to grind it out on the indies before they were able to carve out a spot for themselves on the main roster here in WWE. So let's talk about this argument, and siguro maganda rin mamaya na pag-usapan natin yung uh, I guess the fans dilemma of who to cheer for between Ronda and Shayna. So we'll start with the argument first na mainstream fame versus paying your dues. Ikaw, Chino, do you see any merit to this little debate that these two big stars have set up?
At the very beginning of Logan Paul's career in the WWE, I had such distaste for him. Number one, kasi of his reputation, diba? The stunts he and his team try to pull. And number two is like it's very dubious to me whenever somebody like a celebrity tries to get on the WWE cloud. But over time, I think masyadong malaki yung word na mature for a few months. But I think I've matured over the fact that there are individuals in the world who are going to be tapped by the WWE, because the WWE, as big as it is to us and our community, isn't as big to everywhere else, diba? Otherwise, they wouldn't need to work with large name celebrities like Bad Bunny, like Logan Paul, like Ronda Rousey, diba? They wouldn't have to have the need to incorporate themselves in movies and in promotions and in late night talk shows, diba? Kasi it can always get bigger, diba? As big as the WWE is, mas malaki pa yung ibang sports promotions out there like your NBAs and your NFLs, diba? Mas malaki pa rin yun compared to what the WWE is. So, in that regard, I can see the merit of somebody like Logan Paul. Kasi while he didn't grind it out in the indies, hindi siya nag-wrestling sa NXT or wherever, he was still grinding it out online, eh. Diba? In that same argument now na nangyayari ngayon sa SAG-AFTRA strikes, diba? Where content creators are trying to demarcate the line whether or not they're part of the strike kasi hindi sila actor per se. Diba? But a lot of content creators are saying, teka, hindi nga kami nag-acting school, pero we also grinded it out. We also are part of this conversation kasi nag-contribute kami to the industry. Logan Paul also did the same contributions. He didn't have to bump to the ring. Hindi siya bumuo ng ring before a show. But he grinded it out, his YouTube following, and yun yung nag-attract dun sa WWE to his sort of market. So I can see why there are instances na may benefits ka from working with somebody like Paul or like Rousey.
Ikaw, Emil, do you like seeing this in your wrestling where you have a big mainstream star saying na, yeah, nandito I took the shortcut because I'm famous, because I bring that name value, and then yung kalaban nilang wrestler is an actual pro wrestler who says na, eh, hindi, di mo deserve yan. Look at me, I paid my dues. Do you like seeing that type of story?
Yes, because it's a contrast of two different worlds, eh. And the best wrestling feuds are always making up of yung two opposites. So I like seeing this kind of story in wrestling. Because at the end of the day, as long as both wrestlers respect what they're doing, respect the business, magkaiba man yung path nila, pero for me, they still get the same respect. Eh.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I would see it.
Yeah, Ro, I know you mentioned on your freebie review, on your Raw review, how you were able to make sense of the Ronda Shayna feud.
Okay, we're going there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty funny because one would think Shayna was the heel here because she attacked her best friend,
Yeah, that's how it was set up.
She made good points. She established she grinded and then Ronda did not. Pero syempre, that's neither here nor there as well, because that doesn't make, not grinding to become a wrestler doesn't make you a bad person. It just doesn't just means that you had a different path. Diba? So That's pretty weird. Well, it's not pretty weird, but more of when if you're looking for a reason to boo either of these people, it's not really solid, you know. So, uh, I think Triple H is kind of smart in letting the crowd decide, the audience decide who they want to cheer for. Like, if you are the kind of purist and says, "Oh, if you want to be a top wrestler, you got to have a paid dues," or you decide with Shayna, and then if you are the kind of fan, yeah, I'm a big Ronda Rousey fan, so she's good, and then she proved it, and then she proved that she loved pro wrestling and she did the work, so you can cheer for Ronda. So, um, people were asking who the face and the heel was. So the question is both of them and neither of them at the same time. So, kayo bahala.
Schrodinger's
No,
Schrodinger's
no,
booking.
not quite Schrodinger's thing. It's more of a Japanese style thing. See, Chris Charlton just explains in his history book of NJPW na um, Japanese writing, Japanese booking doesn't really do the morality play thing as Chris Hero mentioned. It's really just a sporting thing, and then the crowd will love you even if you're decidedly a terrible person because you're an athlete, you are a good athlete, you win despite the struggle. So may ganun. And it just is. They just are. They just are human beings who purposely gray the line between good and bad. So that's the answer. It's not a satisfying answer, but it is the logical one.
Mm-hmm. Let's say hi to Huge and to Mon. Good morning, Mon, from the other side of the
Good
world. Thank you
morning,
for joining
Mon.
us.
One.
What up, man?
Sana nakapagkape ka na.
Oh, anong
NXT
breakfast
here.
mo, Mon?
Oo nga. Ano almusal natin, Mon? Right, let's go talk about NXT. Dirty Dom is now a champion. He's the new North American champ. And you look at this picture, all three of the stars to Finn's left are holding something, diba? Money in the Bank, the Women's World Championship, and the North American Championship. And to me, when I saw this picture, I was like, I know where this is going. Finn Balor is gonna get even more insecure, and that's probably gonna sow even more seeds of discord among the members of the Judgment Day. Ikaw, Emil, what do you think about this development in their story?
Yun na nga, no? We thought all this time na the insecurity or the feud will just revolve around Finn and Damien. But now is with Dom here having a title, so my opinion na siya na lang yung wala. And if he loses at SummerSlam, that's gonna go even worse for him because he's gonna be the only one who's not gonna have any title. So now it's even though I don't want the Judgment Day to break up, now it's getting clearer to me as time goes on that this is gonna end in the breakup of Judgment Day because Finn feels like yeah na nga, insecure na he doesn't na he's the only one we talked about this before na all the other guys in the Judgment Day, they are winning in the recent months. I mean, Rhea, of course, with the title, then Damian no Money in the Bank, and now Dom with the North American title. Siya na lang talaga yung parang kawawa na he doesn't win anything.
Mhm.
So that's gonna play into it even more now that Dom has a title of his own.
Yeah, but Ro, with the North American Championship now in Dom's possession, what does this do to Wesley and Mustafa Ali for the bash?
Well, I know the match is now between Ali and Dom. So kasi Ali did win his right to challenge. I think may last minute adjustments. I think they're gonna add Wesley to it and make it a three-way. Because you can't just you can't just push him to the side, diba? So
Yeah.
I don't think there is an insecurity by Finn toward the other members of the Judgment Day. Uh, I think whatever internal tension there is was still always between Finn and Damien because Damien was the one trying to encroach in his territory and challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship. So I don't know where you guys are getting this from. I don't think if there is a breakup, it's not going to be the entire faction imploding, but someone kicking Damien out of the group, or maybe Finn getting kicked out of the group. So I don't see this as something that would trigger Finn. I think it's just, there has been a report that said that WWE is looking at the Judgment Day as the next bloodline.
Yeah.
Kasi maganda yung numbers nila. They've been pulling in the ratings. They've been setting social media on fire. People can't even, people don't even let Dominic talk. So they're big, and it's amazing because originally they were, it was a whole different Judgment Day at the beginning. So that's pretty
Yep.
cool for them. So I don't think you're getting a breakup for those reasons alone.
Chino, do you see a world where Finn wins at SummerSlam and all of them are holding something?
If anything, it's more reason not to give Finn a title. Diba? Kasi nandun tinitease na nila yung seeds of discontent between the members, right? So if you give Finn the title, it negates all that storytelling that they were building up to. Maybe we could be wrong, diba? We read it the wrong way. It motivates Finn Balor. He wins the title. Damian Priest goes after another title, and that's that, diba? Pero I don't think they're going to swerve us like that kasi masyado nang madaming time na in-invest dito sa kwento na to eh. They played it out for the past few months now, and so the payoff is only pointing in one direction, and unfortunately for the Judgment Day, it's in a not so pretty direction.
I want to bring this back to Dom because I think it's a very interesting decision to have him hold the North American Championship since the US Championship has a story going on, and it's kind of inconceivable to have this version of Dom defeat Gunther since he's basically Roman Light. So I'd like to think it was a creative way to give Dominic a singles championship, especially when the Judgment Day has been going on this type of road. This is for anyone, by the way.
And especially since he hasn't been on NXT like at all. Diba? Hindi naman siya NXT graduate like the other three guys in the faction. So that's also something to note.
I dare say that it pretty much ruined Shawn Michaels' plans because for sure nobody was expecting this, or maybe they did. Maybe they knew that the end game was Dominic winning the championship right before the Great American Bash. So that's messed up. Ang ano ka lang is I hope that Wesley gets promoted because of this kasi he got shafted in this particular situation, diba? So ako naman, we've been saying whenever we predict NXT shows na Wesley deserves to get a bigger story, go for a bigger championship. So I think this might be it. This should be it. Kasi who else are you gonna do after Ilya versus Melo?
Yeah.
Ikaw,
I
Emil,
do
any
want.
thoughts?
I do wonder if, because of this win, they're planning to have Dominic spend time in NXT, or maybe is he just going to be a transitional champion for someone else? Maybe Ali, maybe someone else. So yun lang. So kasi this is the first time he's been on NXT since. I mean, he did appear last year, but he's not a staple really on the NXT roster. So
Yeah.
that is something that I'm interested in the next weeks to come.
Mm-hmm. All right. Moving on here.
Sorry, dagdag ko lang.
Okay, sige, go.
Sorry, I will say that having the title on Dom allows him to be a little bit more legitimate, diba? Na parang dati siya yung +1 ni Rhea Ripley. Ngayon, halos magka-level na sila. I say halos the heaviest of senses. Pero giving him a title really puts the impetus on Finn a lot more now. So parang, again, back to my previous point na bibigay ba natin talaga yung title kay Finn just to be the all-belt screw? Is that what they're trying to do here? I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see.
I mean, if they're the next bloodline, then I guess that's the way to go.
That's true. No,
but the old bloodline is still there though. So it's like, diba, parang, are you gonna fast track the storyline while there's still this whole other storyline happening? It's kind of getting messy.
If they are gonna make Finn win, I don't think it's because of any insecurity. I think it's because of the fact that he got robbed by his own body of the original Universal Championship win, which is the entire point of his feud with Seth, which we'll talk about in the audio only.
Yeah. So if Finn does win it, then he can finish his own story.
Oh yeah,
right.
in factor.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to SmackDown here and talk about Elton Prince's separated shoulder, which was reported by Mike Johnson of PW Insider following SmackDown. So, first off, I hope that he heals and recovers as quickly as possible. But following the injury, or the news of the injury breaking on the internet, people have been piling on Ridge Holland and criticizing him pretty unfairly because people are still thinking of the Big E injury from March of last year, and now they're calling him things like unsafe and everything. To the bumalik yung death threats, people being irrational to the point that Ridge Holland deactivated on Twitter. So people are asking, is this guy unsafe or what? And I've made it a point to stop critiquing the way wrestlers wrestle because I am not a wrestler. So, ikaw, Emil, what do you think about this? Does Ridge Holland at least deserve the criticism following this injury?
Also,
I
hindi
showed
ako
you the
wrestler,
slow-mo.
so,
But I showed you the slow-mo.
not siguro maybe just a little bit, pero not entirely his fault. Freak injuries do happen in wrestling. This isn't the first time that a freak injury happened in a wrestling match. I didn't see any malice. I didn't see any intention to hurt on which part. It was an awkward fall, yes, for Prince. And I feel sorry for Ridge because he has to go through this again. I mean, yes, maybe he deserves some criticism as well, pero not to a point where people are sending death threats, calling him, yung mga so far out of line na that's social media, and it can be a little bit too much, So, I'm sure wala namang gusto na nangyari. It happens, and I just hope na Prince get well soon, and Pretty Deadly can be back competing sometime soon.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Chino, what went through your head when you first saw Twitter go apeshit over this incident?
Siyempre, sumali ako sa outrage first and foremost kasi yun yung gusto kong gawin sa life ko. I have accepted my flaws as a chaotic person. But then I thought about it. I thought about that. I saw this thing that was poignantly written on Facebook, one of those For You things. That said that Ridge Holland was actually trained by the finest wrestling minds on the planet. Diba? He went from the UK system all the way to the NXT system stateside, and then tsaka lang siya na-call up, and even then, he wasn't even wrestling at the very start of his career. So he went through rigorous training. Now, that said, kahit gaano ka well-trained, accidents do happen in any sort of professional sporting environment. Lalong-lalo na kung full contact sport siya, like pro wrestling, the WWE, diba? So, kasama yan sa territory. Hindi ko din pwedeng sabihin na, wala siyang kasalanan. Hindi ko din pwedeng sabihin, kasalanan nila lahat. It's just part of the environment that you're in, diba? You sign the contracts, and I'm pretty sure dun sa contracts na pinipirmahan nila, may clause na nagsasabing, whatever happens in the ring is just part of the business. Hindi yun intended to hurt somebody. Hindi yan ginawa dahil unprofessional yung kasama nila sa ring. Kasi kung ganun ngayon nangyari, dapat matagal na siyang wala diba? Dapat na pinpoint na nila yung problema ni Ridge Holland, and they were able to root it out. But no, he's still there, he's still performing, and he's still part of the WWE. So parang ako, sa akin, nakikita ko na kung ayaw masaktan, mag-chess ka na lang. That's just the thing I like saying about these situations. It's part of the business. You watch people get hurt, and sometimes they do get hurt for real.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know we had
the
Joel
wrestler's
here.
take.
I already explained this. I already explained how it worked, how the spot should work. It's on a reel, on our Facebook, and our TikTok, and our Instagram. People have commented on it.
A lot of white.
If you want me to, if you want me to explain it here, that the way Elton Prince took the move is, I don't want to blame him. This is not blaming him. This is just stating a fact of life. Yeah. The way you take the move is the way you deliberately take the move, and he didn't have to do a flip like that, but he chose to for our entertainment. The same way people will do a literal backflip off a clothesline of one, one lariat, diba? And that's highly dangerous because you can break your neck, and that's just off of one clothesline. Are you gonna blame the guy who gave the lariat? Ikaw yung nag-backflip. Eto rin. He was the guy who made the flip, and the flip just wasn't just didn't land right. And sometimes that happens, I've seen it in training, I've seen it in dozens of other matches, and it's no one's fault other than, other than physics. And that's why I can't blame Rich. It was, again, I slow moed it for you. It was a light touch, it was a light shove, as I think he knew that people were blaming him for prior incidents, so he wanted to be as light as possible. And I'm glad, more so than they did last year. A lot more people are understanding now. Okay, um, Ridge didn't, throw anyone awkwardly over his head here. He just literally he just really pushed the guy, and then the guy jumped. So I'm glad that more people are seeing this. But Chemper, not enough people, because he still got bullied off of Twitter. What's worse is what's worse is the fact that you get criticized by people who don't know how to do what both guys did. They don't know how to do what Rich did, and they don't know how to do what Elton Prince did. So that's the worst part about it. And it sucks that he had to go get off of Twitter, but that's actually for the best then, since he's on TV anyway. Chino's right. If it really was a problem, he would have been fired by now. But anyone who can watch it back in any speed will see that he wasn't out there trying to, commit any flagrants or anything, flagrant twos or anything.
Yeah, I appreciate our listeners here, the people in the comments. For the most part, you guys seem to be hip to what's up. Nah, sending death threats to Ridge or calling for his job, calling for him to be fired. That's all wrong. That's all out of bounds. If you somehow are listening to the podcast and you're part of the mob trying to lynch Ridge off of Twitter or off the internet, sana magbago kayo kasi yun nga, na-explain na rin naman namin na that's just the nature of the beast, and that based on the slow-mo, based on how he works, explained by someone on this podcast who knows how to work, there was no ill intent, there was no malice in the action. So if you're still drinking that Kool-Aid,
There was
please stop.
also no recklessness, because people are hating him for perceived recklessness. He wasn't reckless there. He did it as soft as he could. So, Yun. I think that's the biggest part to prove that he wasn't trying to be dangerous out there.
Mm-hmm. To end this, I just, again, on behalf of the pod, we wish Elton Prince a speedy recovery, and we do hope that Ridge
Friend
is
natin
okay.
yan.
Pinafollow niya tayo sa
Tropa
Twitter.
natin yan si Elton Prince.
Yeah, but on a serious note, we hope that Ridge Holland is also okay, and that he's not letting all of this noise on Twitter get to him too much. I hope that his family isn't being bullied on Twitter as well, because last time his wife also got the brunt of it on social media. So
Fucking seriously?
guys,
I didn't know that.
yes.
Yeah, why?
Yes, that happened. So
Mag-threads muna siya. Doon muna siya sa threads.
So
Muna siya
internet,
sa-
please be kind. Please don't be dicks to the wrestlers whose work we enjoy at the risk of their own safety and health. All right? We'll take a break. AEW stuff right after this. But first, another word from our other podcasts on Podcast Network Asia. Sakto yung tanong ni Glendale. We're gonna start with the AEW list of things that they've banned na ni-report ni Sean Ross Sapp exactly a week ago, right after the live stream. So let's go through them really quickly. Some things that were identified on the ban list, or yung mga things that have to be approved by a coach there. That's the better way of putting it. They include spots and bumps on the apron and on the outside, spots involving tables, ladders, and chairs in and out of the ring, pile drivers and tombstone variations, high risk dives or top rope moves like yung mga 630, 450, shooting star press, etc. Throwing people into the ring steps, commentary table, all those other foreign objects. The stuff that John Moxley likes to mess with, like the thumbtacks and any other sharp objects he likes to bring into the match. Weapons, choking, which we saw in Blood and Guts, and so much more. So
Yeah,
marami,
wait, hold on. We saw a
marami
lot of
pina-approve
that.
kanina.
No, yun
Ang
nga.
daming
Yun
nakalusot
nga.
kung ganun.
No,
Hindi,
yun nga.
pina-approve
You can have
kasi.
it
Pinapa-approve.
approved. You can have it
Yeah.
approved.
Yun yung pinaka-crux dito na pwede pa ring mangyari on AEW pero dapat i-approve ng coach or the producer who's handling your match. So, okay, Chino, umangal ka na about this one. What do you think about this news bit na ni-report last week?
First of all, John Moxley does a promo and he already bleeds. So parang hindi ko naman kung bakit, di ba? Parang sobrang good. Naglabas siya ng bed of nails. Like, what wrestling logic will dictate na may bed of nails ka? Diba? Unless it's a death match. Sobrang, minsan OA na siya eh, di ba? But then as on the other side of things, parang medyo OA din tong AEW because their focus at the very beginning, at the very inception of this company, was to give us wrestling, di ba? It was to give us high quality wrestling delivered by high quality wrestlers, and to glass ceiling them like that by prohibiting certain moves, certain spots, certain gimmicks, kind of takes away from the wrestling that we already know. If anything, parang lumulugar sila sa territory ng WWE. I might be wrong, but it's starting to feel that way. It's starting to feel like they're trying to cater their product to the WWE market.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Emil, do you think this is a bad thing?
Honestly, really, no, hindi siya bad thing for me. Kasi, some people are afraid na with this development, the product will turn into this soft style. I'm calling it soft, because that's what they call it, that they always attribute to WWE. But this is a good thing in my opinion kasi with ngayon yung schedule nila mas packed na compared before. Like we already have 2 weekly shows per week. 3 weekly shows per week. And then they're starting to have some house shows, scaling down on the intensity and the danger of the matches na they're wrestling with is only going to be beneficial to their careers in the long term. Pero di naman ibig sabihin, parang ang ano nito, hindi ibig sabihin na every match puro all out na ganun. Like you could do it once in a while in a special occasion, pero not every match is gonna be like that kasi mababurn out yung katawan ng mga wrestlers. So I feel like this is gonna be beneficial in the long term of the careers of some people like Darby Allin, who always goes out parang every match, parang feel mo lagi siyang parang malapit siyang ma-injured or he's gonna injure himself, and again, for those people who are, not everything is banned. So may mga again, like we already said, it has some things needs to be pre-approved. So parang ang lumalabas ito sa akin, those wrestlers who knows how to do a certain move or do certain things are probably gonna be allowed to do them because parang they've been doing this for a long time. So, pero yung mga baguhan, yeah, they need some coaching from the coaches, I guess. So this is gonna be beneficial for the product, I think.
Ro, may sinabi si Chino kanina about this list making AEW more like WWE. And let me ask you if that's something you don't like.
No, I like it. Emil hit it completely right on the head. Chino's reaction kind of proves a lot of this big overall majority fan thinking that you just won't get it until you are a worker, a wrestler. Kasi it's not for you, it's not for the fans, it's for the guys and the girls doing the shows, diba? Emil is right in saying that not everyone should be able to do all of these things. Not everyone should be given this wide freedom to do whatever the fuck they want in their match. But Emil is right in saying that if you are the main event and you are wrestling a blood and guts match, you are allowed to do whatever it takes or whatever you do in a blood and guts match. It means that if you are working the first match on Ring of Honor, you're not allowed to do a fucking
Bring in a
suicide
bed of
dive.
nails.
Yeah, bring in a bed of
So pag
nails.
gago
Diba? So,
talaga nun. Like,
yun.
why?
Baka
Broken
idol lang si
glass?
Bon Jovi. Uh, so it's those things that is meant to edit. It's meant to edit the work of these artists because you can't just put everything out there. You can't raw dog everything out there and, think it's good. Diba? It's the restrictions are there to ensure a better quality product and a better experience for the fans in the end. Even if they don't realize it, diba? Even if they think now, okay, you're ruining my enjoyment of the show. I just want to see everyone do apron power bombs and suicide dives in every match. Diba? I mean, you think you want that, but there will come a point where you won't. And it's better that it comes from the wrestlers now than something bad happens eventually. Diba? This way, you stop people from doing something stupid and being talked about by the entire world. So,
Yeah, we
diba?
know that
So,
firsthand.
yeah. So yun nga. I think our listeners and watchers here, I think they kind of get it. I don't know if it's because we explain it so many times, but it's good though that this isn't a hard ban because syempre, there is nuance, there is reason. You can talk to someone who knows better, and then they can show you how to do it right, or they can show you where it could make sense. So that's the good part of this. Compared to WWE, because it's hard ban, diba? That's the bad part, and I think that's the part that Chino is scared of, which I think is a good compromise for this. So I think we shouldn't be alarmed too much by this. It's a good thing, and in the end, actually, it's a nice sign of Tony Khan's maturity as a promoter. Because if now, after 4 years, he gets it. He gets that you can't just do anything you want on a major wrestling promotion.
Eto, gusto ko lang idagdag to what's already been said about this topic that AEW they have to answer to. They are on broadcast television. They have advertisers that they have to be accountable to, 'di ba? So hindi din pwede na yung product nila sobrang wild na lahat ng ginagawa ni John Moxley makikita mo from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. for example. Like if that's your deal, AEW can't do that. Kasi remember when Jericho and Nick Gage had that match and then yung pizza cutter happened during a Domino's pizza commercial? 'Di ba? Like that was a
What a sad
disaster na
coincidence.
unintended. Hindi nila sinadya na mangyayari 'yun, 'di ba? Sobrang malas lang talaga ng timing. But you kind of want to avoid that instance from happening so that you don't lose your advertisers kasi yun pa rin yung pumopondo, nagbabayad ng mga sweldo nila, 'di ba? So kailangan pa rin nila i-keep in mind yung mga stakeholders involved, and that's probably kasi look at the list, it also includes physicality including guests or yung mga managers, non-wrestlers basically, di ba? So you can't have a celebrity like Shaq being choked out with a chain the way Wheeler Yuta was kanina. So that was one of the things then that they're trying to guard against with that list. So it has to be taken then into the right context, which is looking at it from the business perspective, di ba? All right, any other thoughts on this one?
I think
No, I think
nasabi na lahat.
everything.
Yeah.
All right. Since we mentioned the finish to Blood and Guts, let's talk about the match. Did you guys think it delivered? Because we got a solid hour of Blood and Guts. Ito muna, before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. Did you enjoy this, Chino?
Not as much as I thought I would.
Why not?
Parang lahat nung the things we hate about what was it, war games are for me a lot more amplified in a blood and guts match. So the gratuitous violence that takes forever to set up. Yun nga, John Moxley doing all sorts of crazy gimmicks in the ring pero nobody actually going for a finish, diba? Parang it gave them more leeway to do spots that were pretty much unnecessary just because the match has allows you to do
Yeah.
that, diba? Kasi yung whole thing niya
So may
was
one arc
you
kayo.
have Oh, kasi may 1 hour kayo. Exactly. So, you have to fill that hour. I'm
Mm.
gonna take something from the world of stand-up comedy here. It's like, you have a specific number of minutes that you need to fill. Pero yung material mo, 5 minutes lang. And binigyan ka ng 15. So, anong gagawin mo sa 10 minutes? You're gonna vamp. And that's how I felt throughout most of the time during the Blood and Guts match. So, parang at a certain point, parang pino-forward ko na siya. Parang, okay, forward na natin ng konti. Para lang, kasi doon parang nalalambian na ako from all the violence, all the things that they tried to pull off.
But to be fair, Chino, baligtad tayo. Yung feeling that I had when I was watching Bullet Club Gold go against FTR for an hour, I kind of felt this with Blood and Guts as well. So, yun, magkaiba tayo ng experience watching Blood and Guts. I actually enjoyed it, but there were some things that were kind of odd. Kind of like Kota Ibushi's AEW debut, which I found so on brand for Kota Ibushi, where inuupakan na yung mga kakampi niya, puta, ano pa siya sa fanfare na, oh yeah, bask in my glory, AEW world. Before he slow walked to the ring and joined the fray. Emil, what did you think of that? Because, like, God, Kota Ibushi, what the hell? Your teammates were getting creamed out there.
It is an AEW staple, and it reminded me of yung AEW debut ni Jeff Hardy na inuupakan na yung kapatid niya, tapos siya sumasayaw pa siya nung dance niya. Pero yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Everybody has been.
I got a question.
Like when I pointed it out to Discord natin.
Yeah, you may question
no.
CEO.
Yeah. No, I was gonna go off of Neil's comment here because last week I mentioned when they announced Ibushi nung main event, nung last segment ng Dynamite, I was arguing that they should have just had him be the badly hidden surprise of the night, of Blood and Guts night mismo. Like when you're making your entrances, he is the CM Punk heavily anticipated surprise, diba? So since he trotted out to the ring, absorbing the fanfare, would you have preferred na he did that as a surprise?
No,
Yeah.
I would have rather na in-announce na lang siya last week, as in he appeared in person,
Yeah.
and para dito sa Blood and Guts, tatakbo na rin siya the way that the Young Bucks did, or that Hangman did. Actually, one of the Young Bucks also took his sweet time getting to the ring. Dehado na nga sila nun. So parang dun din, medyo nainis din ako na parang, come on guys. Well, konting urgency naman.
Yeah, if you would compare it to, again, I don't want to really compare AEW, WWE, pero when you watch a War Games match, and parang pag timer na, talagang na nila, nagmamadali na silang tumakbo dun sa ring, which compared dito na parang nagja-jogging lang yung iba.
I think and this is pulling back the curtain a little bit sa MWF now, kasi in MWF we have actually acting lessons and some acting guidance, diba? Kasi we have an actual TV and movie director helping, and you have Stan teaching acting. So I think walang ganun sa AEW because they just wanted to be purely wrestling. They didn't want to be, they didn't want to be influenced by the evil world of TV. So maybe WWE had the sense to teach people now, okay, this is how you should act in a situation like this, in a story situation like this. And AEW just did not, kasi yun nga, wrestling lang.
Yeah, diba, parang for the fans, for the listeners of this podcast, kung yung tropa mo inuupakan na, will you just walk slowly and power walk? Diba re-resbakan mo agad? Diba?
It makes as much sense as, may baon akong bed of nails. Yun. It's as much sense as that.
No, dude. The bed of nails in context works kasi Moxley is just so violent. He really just wants to make Kenny Omega suffer. But he's slow walking.
I think it's funny that
the love.
I think it was just funny that he was creative enough to have a bed of nails made for
a literal bed of nails.
On brand yun for John Moxley. I could not complain when I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know how to. A bed of nails really alleviates the pain in the back. Pero how can you gimmick a freaking bed of nails? Like it's nails. It's the first time I've seen that in wrestling, and talagang napasigaw ako when Moxley, and Omega. Yeah, they were the ones who took the bumps on that bed of nails.
Ikaw, Ro, do you want to explain that here or offline?
I actually don't know how that bit of movie magic is done. I don't know a lot of things about the hardcore business because I don't do a lot of hardcore matches. I only done one hardcore match and it wasn't even that hardcore. So wala ako alam dyan. I can't explain it to amigo. All I know is the barbed wire isn't really barbed. So yun lang.
And like, going back to question Stan regarding Ibushi's debut, even though yeah the entrance was great, but I felt like something was off with Ibushi. Maybe because it was ring rust or maybe he's still injured. Pero parang ano siya, he was out of place for most of the match. yun yung nafe-feel ko sa kanya. And honestly, I'm gonna wait for an actual singles or a tag match with Kenny before maybe we could properly judge or say something about Kota Ibushi in AEW.
I'm gonna go back to Chino here. What did you think of Takeshita and Pac walking out on the Blackpool Combat Club?
Yeah, it was interesting. See Pac walking out because this is his first match back, diba?
Yeah, in quite a while.
Wasn't he off injury, and then this is his first match back. Feel like they're trying to pull a with Takeshita. I still can't say, but with Pac, I feel like they're trying to pull a turn with Pac, trying to make him go after Claudio and them. Baka kasi it feels weird because when he went off TV, he wasn't a face, right? He wasn't a heel pala, diba? He was a face.
Well, he's an anti-hero. He's never really 100%
so
babyface.
so sa akin, I feel like him walking away from BBC was him actually trying to go back into his original face alignment here. Kasi parang nung nakita ko siya side with Claudio and Moxley and them, na parang nakita ko, wait lang, di ba parang mabait siya? So ba't nag-heal siya ulit?
The guy literally calls himself a bastard. I'm pretty sure he's not a good guy.
I mean, there were a lot of people who would hindi naman porket bastard masama na. No?
Plus, he has beef with all the elite.
Yeah, I think he is like one of the most accurately written for characters in the entire company. Because, well, it's easy to write for him because he's a dick to everyone. But I think that was pretty on brand. He marches to the beat of his own drum.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Emil, any thoughts on the walkouts?
Pac made sense. Si Takeshita medyo hindi because in the weeks leading up to Blood and Guts, they didn't really show na any parang any miscommunication between Takeshita and the BCC. Is it it's as if na Takeshita is actually a member of the BCC if you didn't have any context of what you're seeing on TV. So maybe maybe the feud will go down to Takeshita versus Kenny or someone else, pero the Pac move made sense with Takeshita medyo hindi.
So, ang basa ko dito sa walkouts is that the Blackpool Combat Club plus Takeshita and Pac, it's just a loose alliance of people who all hate Kenny Omega. So, when na-friendly fire ni Claudio si Pac, napiko na si Pac, like, okay, fuck you guys, walk out na ako. Kasi wala naman siyang attachment sa BCC eh. And then Takeshita and Don Callis, it was never really explained kung ano yung basis ng relationship nila. So, I never saw Takeshita and Callis as part of the BCC.
No, they did.
So,
I don't know. I never saw it. Of them, of who? Of Takeshita and the BCC?
No. Callis associating with the BCC. Like, I never saw them really be incorporated as part of the group. Like, it was always Callis and Takeshita, but never them two plus BCC, right? So, nung nakita ni Don Callis na, hala, wala na si Pac, dehado na kami, 5-on-4. Let me protect my investment and pull Takeshita out of here.
Right.
Kasi wala, maupakan tayo eh. So, it made sense to me, di ba? And BCC, sila naman talaga yung team. So they were going to ride it out until the end. Whereas the Golden Elite, these were all guys who are friends. Like, their basis is literally their friendship. And this win meant na friendship trumps everything else. Diba? So the power of friendship wins. Happy, fuzzy, warm feelings all around. So, despite Yuta getting choked out with the chain. Plus the facial reactions of Mox and Claudio while Yuta was getting choked out. Diba? It really told a story of how they were so just resigned to their own fate. So that's how I read Blood and Guts. Kayo, in the comment section, or you guys, if meron kayo ibang reading of it, you can let us know. Hit us up. It's at Wrestling2XPod on TikTok and on Twitter. All right. Last bit here. about AEW before we get to our audio-only discussions. Na marami pa. Let's talk about MJF and Adam Cole. We got another very sports entertaining segment on Dynamite earlier with a dance off, and then Adam Cole and MJF winning the blind eliminator tag team tournament. Do you want them to go on an extended run here as a tag team, even beyond All In or All Out? Emil?
Honestly, no. I'm not foreseeing this going going
It's so
longer
fun.
than
You don't like this? It's not fun for you?
I love this. Pero again, I'm conditioned to the thinking na eventually MJF is gonna turn on Cole or vice versa. Kasi the program here is Cole versus MJF. Talagang they just had this, this diversion to the plot of them teaming up together. Pero they teased it earlier after the match. Na yeah,
Yeah,
the turn will happen eventually. So again, like I posted this on Threads or maybe on Twitter na it's not the destination, it's the journey, and I am loving the journey so far of this team, and I don't care if
Taro.
it goes long or it ends next Saturday.
Uh-huh.
I love this team up.
Ikaw, Rose, is still your favorite AEW thing?
Yeah, yes, very much so. I
Same.
want so many things for this. One is if I were Tony Khan, I would look at the success of the Bloodline story and extend this as both guys are willing to be entertaining. Diba? Kasi there is money. There is money in this. And I think I know Tony Khan has a lot of long-term things planned, barring any freak accidents, diba? Pero the thing to learn about wrestling in 2023, I think the biggest lesson to learn here this year is you have to pivot where you strike gold, diba? Diba? And they struck gold here. This is super entertaining. Everyone is
So
into it.
fun, yeah.
Both guys are into it. So extend this, do the bloodline thing, do the Sami Zayn thing as far as you can. And I know we have like a pay-per-view in a few weeks. Pero I can see this lasting until next year. Parang, that's how good these two are together.
Yeah.
Tapos, the other thing I want is for Adam Cole to be the one to turn. Kasi, for the love of God, please let's get human, actual down to earth person MJF. Kasi he's been doing that, and it looks so good on him. Parang feeling ko gustong-gusto niya rin, pero he's afraid of losing himself because he's always been the organically asshole douchebaggy guy who can't let go of that because it works the best for him. But let's make him work, diba? Let's make him expand his range, diba? I think there is a lot of money then to be made there. So I know I said I like Adam Cole best as a face, pero in the context of them as a unit, as two brothers, let's have Adam Cole put MJF in the position of being the betrayed good guy.
Mm-hmm. Ikaw, Chino, do you like the comedy that we're getting out of
No, I
MJF and Adam
do.
Cole?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this duo. I want to see them go all the way. Tulad ng sinabi ni Ro, this could have a bloodline potential. I don't see why they can't turn on each other and still be champions at the same time.
Yun pa.
Like, di ba nangyayari sa wrestling yun eh? Di ba?
The MVP Matt Hardy run.
Yeah, exactly. Di ba? As recently as that, or kahit 10 years ago na yun. So I can see that happening totally in the context of AEW. Diba? Where they both become champions and then doon magta-turn yung isa. I don't know who I want to turn at this point. Kasi parang may pros pareho eh. If MJF turns on Adam Cole, yes, we expect it kasi si MJF done. If Adam Cole turns on MJF, then we get to see a face MJF. So parang madami pa rin siyang pros masyado. I wanna see first where the story goes. Kasi it's still very entertaining. They are still very funny together. And I didn't even know na kaya magpatawa ng gano'n ni Adam Cole, to be honest. Kahit charismatic siya. So I thought he was just a douchebag nung NXT days niya. So this new Adam Cole is revelatory.
Yeah, I agree, and I think I can speak for everyone here when I say that I hope the TK pulls a Ross Geller and pivots so that we can get this long ass story that we
Last
deserve.
thing, the other underrated thing about this is Roddy Strong being the punchline
Yeah.
of each of each Adam Cole MJF segment. That works for him because he gets on TV. That gets him on TV. If I were Roddy Strong, I would be celebrating because I get to be a part of this highly entertaining angle.
Yeah.
Naka-neck
As a
brace pa siya.
supporting character. Yeah, it was fun na shinatap ni Roddy si Renee. It's like, not now! Kasi may feelings pa siya. So there, it's a lot of fun. As you can tell, we're having a lot of fun just talking about it, with more actually watching this on a week-to-week basis. For those of you listening to the audio-only version, I hope that you enjoy this next part. For those of you watching on the live stream, we're still talking about Chelsea and Sonia being the new women's tag champions, Finn and Seth, the new faction of black dudes that's assembling on SmackDown, the women's championship picture on SmackDown, Tony D and Bullet Club Gold. All of that part of your menu for the audio only part. Now, let's get to some plugs. Chino, I know you have a huge event that you want to let the people be a part of this weekend.
Yes, this Saturday at the Music Museum, it's Rex Navarrete live in Manila after 5 years. The original Pinoy American comic is back. He is doing all his classics plus a bunch of new things. He's also being backed by a lot of Comedy Manila vets like Ryan Puno, who you may know from Solid OK, a bunch of new guys as well. Joining him on the fun that's this Saturday, July 22 at the Music Museum. Tickets are available at comedymanila.ph. If there's one show
All
you
right.
need to go to, it's this one, guys.
Mm-hmm. Ro, how about you? Parang naglag si Ro. Ayun, there's Ro.
Yes, the link. Miss hello. Oh,
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, sorry if you didn't catch that. The latest episode of Unmasked is out today. Today, talks about the end of 2015, the first year of my wrestling. So there were two events then, so it's pretty cool, and an interesting story about the first ever PWR backstage fight. So if you want to learn all about that, please follow and stream Unmasked. The Chronicles of Romaran and Sandata on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Yung pa lang doon pa lang siya available.
All right. For me, I'm going to be part of the Asia Basket Las Piñas Championship happening from tomorrow, July 21 until July 30. I'll be calling the action on opening day. A lot of really fun college teams will be part of that pocket tournament. Ateneo, San Beda, FEU, Perpetual Help, CSB. So they're all going to be there. There are some pro teams as well. Gerald Anderson is fielding a team, the half celebs, half semi-pros. So go catch those games. They're actually going to be streamed on the Phil Basket / Asia Basket social media. They're also going to be shown on delayed telecast on Solar Sports. So I hope that if you love basketball, you can check this pocket tournament out. It's brought to you by Jai Reyes, Hoop Junkie, Pat Edrozo, and the rest of their fantastic team. And I'm so thrilled to be working with them once again over the next couple of weeks. Kaya wala ako next week on the pod. Another thing I got to plug on Ro's behalf naman is MWF. ManilaWrestling.com for everything that you need to know about Gigil at Romansa. If you want to catch the episodes, they're going to be uploaded on Gank very soon. Of course, they will also be shown on Rock of Manila TV. It's the new channel under the RJTV network. So we're so excited for you to catch our first episodes, the return of Pinoy Wrestling on TV, as we've been marketing it. Go catch all of the antics that JDL and myself are up to as part of Oro Plata Mata. Rock of Manila TV is on Sky Cable Channel 229, and I believe it should also be on the UHF band once they sort that out. Kasi sinabi sa amin that I think it's also on free TV, but we'll see. All right. As for us here on the pod, we'll catch you next week for our Picks of the Week special and the regular Thursday live stream, 7 p.m. on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you to everyone for checking out this podcast and following us. Thank you to Babyface producer Jasper for everything he does, along with all the other producers over at Podcast Network Asia. We wish we could walk out to Bed of Roses, but we can't kasi kailangan namin magbayad sa Phil's Cap at sa mga record labels. So all we'll say is our usual goodbye. On behalf of Romoran, Chino Liao, and Emil ASH, my name is Stan C. Stay safe, stay healthy, and don't be a dick. Wrestling Podcast out. Bye-bye.
Peace.